Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for watching the channel where we discuss all things crypto, blockchain, technology, innovation, etc. If it's one of those topics, we discuss it here. We try and come out with weekly content, so if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let me know what you think in the comments section. If you liked it, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. If you think I suck, let me know so I can fix it. But either way, we're going to get into it now. Today's video was prompted by a discussion with my mother-in-law who had let me know that she was interested in finding out more about crypto and blockchain, right? She's been hearing about this in the news and going, what's the big deal? What's all the noise about? Is it real? It seems kind of scammy, right? Should I be invested here? We won't answer that last question, but we will try and answer the former, which is, what is crypto? What is the big deal, right? If you're well along in your journey in crypto, this may not be terribly enlightening for you, but if you're trying to wrap your head around what it means for people and why there's so much excitement, this is for you, right? This is going to be at a high level, and it's going to try and explain conceptually why there is so much enthusiasm about blockchain and what kind of value it represents potentially. I'm going to ask you to go back to the 90s and early 2000s, right? For those of you who are old enough to remember anyway, I am. The information superhighway was coming online, right? And we were all of a sudden able to exchange information and exchange data. And there was this exciting new platform called the internet, right? That was wide open. Developers, companies could take that protocol and build on it and deliver a product or service that was really compelling for consumers, right? We're all just massive consumers of the internet. Our lives are oriented around it, right? The world's never been the same. But over time, it's become less open in that way. Some of these companies are huge, and they're amazing companies. I'm thinking Amazon, Google, Apple, Netflix, Facebook. These are amazing companies, and our lives, more or less, have become dependent on them, right? And a lot of people think to an unhealthy degree. And in that way, a lot of the influence and power becomes centralized in these companies. And that's a huge theme in the appeal of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. So we went from kind of a wide open, Wild West kind of new frontier protocol, the internet. Over time, it's become more and more centralized, right? Which is disconcerting on a number of different levels, right? Because inevitably, if you're given this power, absolute power corrupts absolutely, so they say, right? And we see that throughout history. And so we have people starting to feel like, hey, these companies own me, more or less, or my data, right? If I set up my business on Amazon and they, start to censor what they want to see or don't like what I'm doing, they can shut me off, right or wrong, right? Whether you agree with that, their ability to do that or not, they can do it. And so decentralization, if you take anything from this video, it's the concept of decentralizing power and influence over these networks so that there is more of democratic control, influence, and say into how these systems evolve, right? There isn't one party, one board, one CEO, right, having too much influence. We're gonna decentralize power and influence, right? So all the value we're gonna discuss kind of stems from that. That is the key innovation that cryptocurrencies represent, and that's enabled by the blockchain. So if you're confused, like where does crypto end and blockchain begin, and are they synonymous? What do they mean? Cryptocurrencies are kind of an umbrella term that encompass a number of different use cases, more and more each day, and I think there will, it's going to be huge. It's going to be a revolution, in my opinion. But they're enabled by the blockchain, which allows for decentralization. A huge secondary benefit of that is the influence and impact it could have on money and the way we transact. So you have this kind of decentralization mantra in the crypto and blockchain world. And then there's also kind of this huge undercurrent that goes along with that, which is money first and foremost. And then from there, the same dynamic applies to other use cases like NFTs or decentralized finance or you name it, right? Insurance, whatever that next kind of use case that the market identifies, It stems from the desire to achieve that kind of decentralized power, influence, transparency that blockchains allow for. So we talked about decentralization, right? That's big. Let's talk about the money piece, right? So today we have a money supply, and it's issued and maintained by a central bank, the Fed, in conjunction with the Treasury. And they control the money supply. If you look out over history, right, central bankers tend to inflate over time, right, to freely print the money to meet the needs of whatever they are, usually lavish spending, right? So now we're seeing inflation out there. In the minds of a lot of people, cryptocurrencies represent a way to mitigate a lot of the risk that central bankers represent, right? They're printing money. No one really knows what's going to happen. Is it too much? I don't know. But when you consider something like Bitcoin, there's a fixed supply. There are fixed rules that everybody can see. And if you want to change those rules, you need a consensus of a lot of people, network participants, right? There's tens of thousands of them out there in the world. If you want to make a change, everybody needs to agree with you. You don't get to do it by yourself. And that's what Bitcoin represents from a money perspective. So when you think about Bitcoin, think digital gold. That's kind of the use case it's taking up. And then secondarily, it's trying to make the case as a currency, a medium of exchange, money, currency, right? I think the consensus at this point is it's taken over the digital gold, right? I don't see as many people talking about buying gold to store their value. They're talking about maybe buying Bitcoin and getting exposure there. In terms of a medium of exchange, it's probably too volatile now. The prices are swinging. If you want to buy something, Target probably doesn't want to accept Bitcoin, or they can't as part of their business model accept Bitcoin if it's going to go down by 50% next week, right? That could be a problem for them. They need something a little more stable. So TBD on whether Bitcoin can become money. It's my opinion that over time it could be. Time will tell, though. We'll see. So that's kind of the money proposition, right? Open rules, open transparency. Everybody can see what's happening. Everybody knows what the supply is. You can't inflate it away because you've got a huge amount of debt, right? This is how much money we have. That's not an option. And that's similar to what we had when the US dollar was backed by gold, right? And then we got off it, and you can see it on a graph. The money supply starts taking off as soon as we get off the gold standard. So Bitcoin is a money, right? There are other cryptocurrencies trying to make the case that they could do the same thing, but Bitcoin is in the clear lead here. In my opinion, I don't know that anybody's really directly in competition with Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin in terms of money, and they're kind of by themselves to date. We talked about decentralization, money as a result. So let's talk about some of the other benefits that decentralization allows for. First and foremost, censorship resistance. Because influence and power has been decentralized to everybody that's participating in the network, you don't have one party that can go, I'm going to shut you off. I don't like your politics. I don't like what you have to say. I'm going to shut you off, or I'm going to censor you, or somehow coerce you into saying what I want you to say, or at least not saying what you'd like to say, right? There's no one throat to choke, so to speak. There's no one party to go after. It's a network of people, right, who have set up rules that they agree on. So censorship resistance. I can't shut you down. I can't turn your business off because I don't like you or what you said. That's a big one. Transparency. I kind of already alluded to it, but these are open rules enshrined in computer code, and everybody can see them. It's wide open. If you're a participant on, say, the Bitcoin network, I can see the rules. I can see what they are. I know when I submit a transaction, the rules that are being applied, and they can't just be changed by one party who wants them to and would benefit from it. You have to have a huge consensus of people go, that is the right rule change. We want to implement that rule change. And there's no going around this. It lowers cost. If you think about we talked about the money, an impact of that is it could disintermediate a lot of the legacy financial infrastructure that we kind of assume has to be there, right? Banks in the middle of everything, regulators in the middle of everything, clearing houses, transactions settling days later. With blockchain and cryptocurrencies, that doesn't have to be the case. All those people involved make it take longer and cost more. And cryptocurrencies offer a chance to cut out the middleman, do it directly, convey value directly to who I'm purchasing goods or services from or lending from, whatever that relationship is, whatever we're exchanging. I don't need all that in the middle. I don't need the bureaucracy in the middle. I don't need all the rules in the middle. A big one that you're going to hear about is access. Blockchain and cryptocurrencies enable access to anybody in the world who has a phone and an internet connection, right? If I want to buy Bitcoin, I can do that if I have a phone and an internet connection, right? I don't need anything else. I don't need to be near a Bank of America or a Wells Fargo, right, to maintain and manage my money, right? I can do that myself, and I can do it securely with the blockchain, right? So it increases access to people who are unbanked today. Those of us in the US, we don't really struggle with that, or in Western democratic societies, we don't really struggle with that, so we take it for granted. But if you're in Venezuela today, good luck. Your currency is being devalued. It's pretty much worthless. Who knows what the politicians are doing, the level of corruption. Do you really want to put this devalued currency into a bank? What are they doing? I don't know. But those of us who are from kind of more or less stable political environments and stable financial infrastructure, we take that for granted. But I would encourage you, if you're from the US or from one of these countries where we do enjoy the luxury of stability, to think about, if you're from one of these poorer countries and you're living in a remote village, what do, right? So access, huge one. And last but not least, security, right? None of this matters if it's not secure. If I'm at risk and it really, we can't transact safely and securely, right? If there's bad actors out there and by transacting, I'm in danger, right? Fortunately, blockchain and crypto are as secure as it gets, right? If you're thinking of banking with Wells Fargo and Bank of America as highly secure, read the headlines, right? There's data breaches all the time. You're sending them all your most precious data, and you're more or less trusting them to steward it in a responsible way. And I'm not saying that they're bad actors or that they're negligent, but the fact is, these are old companies. They're trying to maintain security and stay diligent and vigilant when it comes to combating all the threats out there. But breaches happen, right? And it's not always a matter of their systems. It could be, an internal employee, right, who's got a grudge, right? But my point is, these companies are single points of failure. You're sending them your most trusted data and valuable information. Breaches happen all the time. No one's ever hacked the Bitcoin network, right? People have been tricked out of their funds, but in terms of the ledger and the technology itself, it's secured, never been hacked. In fact, if it is hackable, everything's hackable because it's secured by the most advanced cryptography that we have. So to the extent anything is secure, it's secure on the blockchain. So that's it, everybody. That is your overview at 100,000 feet. What is crypto? Why people are so excited, what we think it can do, and where maybe things are going. There's way more to this space. It's rapidly changing. It's rapidly evolving. But as you learn, and to the extent you're interested, this will help you kind of, as you learn little tidbits, place it into a framework to help you understand the importance and magnitude of some of the stuff that's happening and how it will impact our lives in the future. So I hope you're excited. I hope that helped. If, like I said at the beginning, if you like what you see, smash the like button. Let me know. See you next time.